Alright, so let's do this counting problem. So I want to know how many 5-letter words, and by word I mean any arrangement of letters. It doesn't have to make sense in English, it's just some arrangement of 5 letters. How many words do not contain the subword DAD? So I don't want to see DAD anywhere in my word. So an example of a good word that I'd like would be something like X, L, D, A, T. Something like that is good, but something like this, B, D, A, D, Q, is bad. So I want to count how many words do not contain the word DAD, the subword DAD. Now, counting how many things do not contain can be a tough problem. So kind of what we're going to do to make our problem easier is we're going to do 2 steps. The first step is we're going to count all 5-letter words. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to count all words containing DAD and then subtract from our count in the first one. So if we know how many words there are in total, and we know how many contain DAD, then we can just subtract them and we figure out the number of ones that do not contain the subword DAD. Alright, so let's count first how many words contain, how many words there are in total. Well, there's 26 letters of the alphabet, A through Z. So how many choices do we have for our first letter? Well, we have 26. Now remember, this isn't without replacement. It doesn't say that once we use a letter, we can't use it again. So that's not going to affect our choice for the other 4 letters. So they're independent choices. So if there's 26 choices for my first letter, there's 26 for my second, 26 for my third, 26 for my fourth. Oh, let me erase that, make that a little bit neater. 26 and 26 choices for my final letter. So, the number of 5-letter words well, we're just going to multiply those together. So it's going to be 26 times 26 times 26 times 26 times 26, which is 26 to the power of 5. And if we do that calculation, we get that this is 11,881,376 different 5-letter words we can make. Again, they don't have to be English words, just some arrangement of 5 letters. Now, part 2 is we have to figure out how many words contain the letters DAD. So they can appear in 3 different ways. So in our 5-letter word, we can have a DAD. We can have it where DAD is in the middle, DAD, and we can have it where DAD is at the end, DAD. So there's 3 different ways of having a subword of DAD in your word. So in each of these cases, our letters are already chosen for us in 3 spots, and the other letters can be whatever we want. So there are 26 choices in each spot where we don't have the DAD. So for each of these, if we have a DAD in the first spot, or a DAD in the second spot, so in the middle, or a DAD in the third spot, so at the end, we can just work out these and add them together. So this is going to be 26 squared plus 26 squared plus 26 squared. And if I work that out, I get that is 2028. So, by this calculation, there are 2028 words that contain the letters DAD in order like this. However, there's one case we have to be careful of. And the case is as follows. So, we said when we had our first word here, so this stuff here, we said we had DAD and 2 other letters. But what if this letter was A and this letter was D? Then it would cover this case down here. So we've counted one word twice. So it's in the intersection of words that have DAD at the start and words that have DAD at the end. So those 2 sets in overlap, the intersection has one thing in it. So we need to subtract that. So we need to subtract one word. And there's actually only 2027 words that have DAD as a subword. And this one represents the word D-A-D-A-D. So finally, we're going to subtract the number of words in total. We're going to subtract the number of dad words from that. So the number, I'll write it like this, of D-A-D. And that'll get the number of words without DAD. So, what numbers do we have? Well, we know the number of words we calculated was 11,881,376. And we're going to subtract off the 2027 words that contain DAD as a subword. And if we subtract those, we get, let's do this quickly by hand, I guess. So this will be 16, so that's a 9, and we had to borrow 1 there. So that becomes a 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 0 is 3. So we need to borrow 1 from here. So that becomes a 7. This becomes an 11. That becomes a 9. 7, 8, 1, 1. So there are 11,879,349 5-letter words that do not contain the subword DAD.